Oh, welcome back to the Backyard Professor Chess videos. Oh, I look like heck. I've had a terrific day, a very fascinating day. I made a video last night where I was moaning and groaning because I had a bad week at chess, and I did. We all do, right? So I'm not trying to ask for your empathy. Now, a few weeks back, my very good friend Jonathan, who I am playing chess with, told me, dude, you need to study tactics. And username, my other very beautiful friend, has told me the same thing. So I have been. I've been looking at tactics. I'm not overdoing it. 5 to 15 easy tactics puzzles a day just to get myself in a groove, right? Just to learn basic tactics. I mean, Tal, when he was the world champion, was caught studying beginner tactics, and they asked him. They said, "What are you doing, dude? You're the world champion. Why are you studying these easy beginner tactics?" And he said, "Why? What do you mean, why? They're tactics, and I want to keep them fresh in my mind. I don't care how hard they are. I want to keep tactics going." And I thought, wow, that's quite the concept. So I have been doing that, right? So 22 Windy 22. Shout out to you as well, my friend. Um, Username and Jonathan, all of you, thank you for being my friends. I consider everyone on my channel my dear friends. I do, I'm serious. 22 Windy 22 watched my video from last night where I was lamenting and crying in my soup, poor me type of thing. And he said, in the comments, he said, before you play another game, you, BYP, before you play another game, you go reread meditatively Jeremy Silman's chapter in The Amateur's Mind called Developing Mental Toughness. And I took your advice. That's what I did today. Played through it, thought about it, reread all the concepts. I'm taking your advice because I don't see myself as above you, my audience, because I know I'm not. I believe we're kind of a part of a great big happy family who are all struggling to improve our chess together. And my time has come to where it's do or die. I will do this. Let me explain to you my process for my own chess psychology. This is just for me. Everyone has their own method, right? My method, and then I'll show you the game I played. I played a game today where I'm seeing tactics a little bit better. And after I read Jeremy Silman's Developing Mental Toughness, I put this into my game, and I'm going to be thrilled to show you the result. But here is and everyone has a different method. For me, I like the intellectual stuff, okay? Maybe it's the reason I love chess is because it is harder than normal. This is not just stratego or risk. This is not based on a dice roll. It's based on your brains and you understanding stuff and then being able to put it into a game. I'm making this introduction way too long, aren't I? I apologize. I know I'm going to lose 3/4 of my audience because of it, and I don't give a flying flip. That's their loss, not yours, who stick with me. So I'm imagining I am in college and I'm going to get my master's degree in chess. Now, I really, really wish I could have stuck with it for the last 11 years. I didn't. It's all good. Don't look at the past. You got to go forward, and that's what I'm doing. I mean, if nothing else, maybe I can be an example to encourage others to start picking it back up and doing so, because I'm going to too. I'll do it with you right here, man. That's why I'm picking up live streams also. I'm starting to do live so that I can interact with you, right? Besides, it's fun, really, seriously, even though it's aggravating, really, seriously. I'm a freshman this year. So for this year, I've given myself some assignments I will have to do through the course of the year. And at the end of the year, I'm going to be graded. Yes, I know. I get it. Yeah, I'm the professor and the student at the same time. I'm going to grade myself, but I'm being pretty strict with myself for this first year. At the end of the year, I'll tell you what I did and I'll tell you how I did on my goals. Needless to say, for my psychology, I am in college and I really am going for the master's degree. I asked myself, look, I mean, I love biblical studies. I enjoy Mormonism. I enjoy history, ancient history more than anything at this point, and I enjoy chess. I enjoy science. Granted, I'm more on the popularizer level. I do enjoy mathematics. I actually do. I do study a little bit of languages, Hebrew, Greek, German, etc. So I have. I love the historical Jesus studies from the scholarship. So I'm kind of an intellectual nerd, right? What would I do if I had to go get a master's degree in Hebrew, the Hebraic Biblical Hebrew Studies? Well, I would start out as a freshman. I would have assignments. Then I would graduate to a sophomore the next year. Then I would have my assignments and hopefully fulfill them, study the language, study the texts, get used to the archaeology, etc. Then my junior year, I would begin thinking about, okay, now what kind of a thesis am I going to put together for my master's uh, degree, right? And then my junior and senior year, I would work together. And my fifth year is my master's thesis. Well, I'm going to treat my chess in this manner. This year I'm a freshman, so quit being so hard on myself. And I appreciate all the kind sentiments. You guys are exactly right. I probably am too hard on myself. My wife says the same thing. She says, "Oh, come on. You've only been at this 5 weeks. Mellow out." So this process, I'm not going to delude myself into thinking, I can study chess for 3 hours a night every night. And on weekends, I've been in chess all day today, study chess every weekend, and within 1 year be a master. No, come off it. It doesn't work that way. Nope. Now, I know there will be critics, and it's all good because I listened to the critics. I stupidly believed them instead of in myself about achieving master rating because I'm way over the hill. It's too late. I'm too old. I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to see what I've got. What do you have, Carrie? Is what I asked myself in the mirror the other day. And I'm going to try to defy the odds and get a master rating anyway. And it'll take me plenty of years, but I'm going to approach it like I'm going through college. So this year I'm the freshman. I'm starting fresh. I'm the beginner, and I'm going to share my journey with you. This is the real McCoy. Yeah, I know. I said that 11, 12 years ago, and I meant it then too. And I stupidly gave up on myself. But now I'm back, and this time I'm going to do it. So let me show you how my taking your advice, you wonderful people, how it affected my game today. You made my day. Thank you. This is my shout out to all of you. Yep. I'm playing the white. And I've decided, holy shish kebab, dude, open correctly. It says D here, not E. Woohoo. Yeah, first I've got to learn how to read. Yeah. Jobava London. Jobava London. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's just do this. And there it is. The London Bishop. But Jobava. Now the Jobava London is because I'm pushing the Queen Knight first instead of the King Knight, right? So this was made by a man named Jobava, and everybody is absolutely wigging out on it. It is a marvelous opening. I am personally very much enjoying it. Bishop f5. Now that's interesting because this is one of the variants that Alex Bonzia talks about in his videos on the Jobava London. Finally, I get a Jobava that actually matches something similar to a YouTube video I've been watching. I've been watching them as often as I can and as many different variations as I can. Finally, it played me correctly, so to speak. And see, this is the wrong mindset in this respect because you have to learn how to play it no matter what your opponent does. Because your opponent may not know the main lines or any lines, and he may just start throwing stuff out there and wipe you out, like I've been getting. So I'm excited. So at this point, I remember, okay, Bonzia said do this. I'm going to have complete faith in what he said for the moment. C6. Now, of course, and this is one way to prevent the quick shenanigans that can occur if you decide you're going to try to hit this square, the C7, with your bishop and knight. This is one way they'll prevent it, right? So, okay, so that eliminates that. In a way, though, you don't want to play for tricks. Play solid chess, develop, get your king castled, develop your queen, last of all, connect your rooks in the opening. That is what you want to do. So this is good that he did that. And now the next thing he said was bump the F pawn. And I know this is different than the London. I get it. Yeah, okay. All right. And now E6. Support the center. Beautiful. So he's already put his bishop out on F5. Yeah. To continue the development. Now, and I have several options. There really are. I mean, seriously, it is an option to go knight H3 first. That's one option. Another option is to put your queen here. But another option is to put the knight here on E2. So you've got a lot of plays. Some are better than others, but the one that is recommended, which I personally now can vouch for without question, is the bishop challenging the bishop. So in some variations, they do take immediately. In other variations, they leave the tension. Either way works. Either way works. I already have my entire game plan for this game. 100% ready to go. And ain't nothing gonna take me away from that plan. Again, 22 Windy 22. Developing mental toughness. Thank you for telling me to renew my understanding of Silman. I'm determined now. I've got to reread Silman. It's been too long since I've read into him. I mean, I'm going to read his Amateur's Mind. I'm going to read his Reassess Your Chess Volume 3 or Edition 3 and the 4th edition this year if I can get it done. I don't know. I've got some pretty big goals for my freshman year in chess college. No, there's not a real chess college. That's my imaginary chess college I am now enrolled in for my own chess psychology to help me get going. So I'll tell you more about it if you're actually interested. In this instance, he went ahead and exchanged. So bishop takes d3. Now, he didn't have to do that. He does not have to do that. The knight to d7 is not bad. Seriously, that's doable. In fact, that's probably the next best move, or either the bishop to D or E7, I mean, sorry, or come all the way out so that you can castle. That is probably the better option, but either one is doable. You can leave the tension because we have absolutely no interest in taking his bishop. None whatsoever. We will keep developing until he exchanges the bishop. We want him to take us here. So do not develop that with the intent of taking him and doubling up his pawns. No, don't do it. Nope, won't work. Much better to let him take. So let's see. I was fortunate. He took it. Excellent. Now, at this point, you could retake with the pawn. Yes, it's going to double your pawns. But consider that with the doubled pawns, this is a very strong center. I'm just saying. You've got very good central squares covered here. You've got the bishop supported and all that. So taking with the pawn is not the way to do this ever in this variation. Bonzi says, no. Take it with the queen because truly he will castle short. If he at all knows what he's doing when he's playing against a Jobava London, you've got to castle short. Castling long is murder. So, okay, I'm going to take his advice. Let's do this way. Queen takes, and now bishop to d6. Once again, a very interesting bishop challenge. Leave the tension. Do not take him. Let him take you. However, you don't want to retake his bishop with your pawn. And I get it. In a London, the knight belongs on its natural square, but we've bumped the pawn already. And it's all good because that little squirt serves a very important role in this game, as you will see. But you do want to bring your knight to here to support the bishop, because if he ever takes that bishop, you will want to retake with the knight. In other words, with the Jobava London setup in this instance, we're very happy. We like it when he brings his bishops out to challenge ours, but we do not take them. Let him do that. So let's see if it works that way. Yeah, it's one thing to say so. It's another thing to do it. And there you go. You got the castle. The opponent castles. At this point, for the rest of your game, totally 100%. I had my game plan 5 moves ago. Oh, criminy. I had my game plan 5 moves ago. I already knew how I was going to play this game, regardless of what he did. I just have to do a couple of things correctly to set the position up so that I can carry out the game. From now on, you have a plan. There is no guesswork. That's the beauty of this. With this setup, it really is. I am going to shoot those pawns up just as fast, hard, and livid as I can possibly do so. You never castle short in the Jobava London, ever. I've tried a few games where the computer forced me to castle short, and it did me no dang good at all. I mean, Bonzi knows what he's talking about, right? But I'm ready to castle long. So it is imperative, because in this type of an attack where you really are, you've got the rocket launcher on your shoulder and these are your missiles and you're going to fire them right now. But you got to remember to castle because it is absolutely essential to get your rooks connected. And I'll show you why. So I'm just, you got to think ahead a little bit. There is an order to this plan of attack, but for right now, happy, happy, joy, joy, get going. Go. G4, motate. Move it, soldier. You're on the way. Send that missile. Knight E4. I have no idea. Don't ask. That was a flat out give me. For the purposes of illustrating this game, it is dubious that your opponent will ever do that. But my opponent did, so I'm going to go with it for now, just to illustrate the game, because this Jobava London works. So, unfortunate. Now, maybe this was it too, because maybe the idea was to double up my pawns and thwart the attack. I mean, seriously, if the G4 doesn't tell you, uh-oh, he's coming after me with his pawns, then you're just deaf, dumb, and blind kid out there playing pinball wizard. Because I'm coming. Here we go. I'm coming for you. So the knight E4, and then I took. And now the bishop to B4, trying to slow my plan down. At this point in time, probably a good idea to castle long, except what I remember international master Bonzia, Alex Bonzia, saying in this situation, you really want to do this. You really do. Seriously. You're on the attack. I know I'm overemphasizing. I don't mean to be a drama queen. I don't mean to take up a lot of your time. I'm not trying to waste your time. I'm trying to give you a good enough emphasis and an illustration so that you don't forget this. Go ahead and push the other one too. Get those missiles launched. Pronto, proud boy. Do it. Do it. Do it now. Is how Schwarzenegger would say it, right? Okay, so, hey, hot dog, we're on the way. 8-6. So, now here's the issue. Here's the issue. If I push here to assure that I'm going to be able to go here and he's going to exchange and open this up for me, that leaves this guy stuck here until I exchange here. So I'm stuck with the pawn on the H file. I would personally prefer to open up the H file, right? For the rook, of course, for the rook. See, you're going to castle long. So this is one of your main weapons is the H file in the Jobava London. You're going to leave your rook undeveloped right there. This is not, I'll bet you never thought you'd hear me say this. Don't develop the rook, not the rook. That's hilarious, isn't it? No, the rook will be plentiful useful, I promise, on that H file. Do not move him out here. The open file is going to be right on the edge. So talk about a contradictional. Now, because he bumped, and this does give you a hook with what is known as a hook. Now I do have something to attack. The downside is this. If I do go ahead and start, then he can shut it down because he doesn't have to take. Yeah? So he made me take the knight. It is so helpful to have that F pawn. Maybe my opponent knew what he was doing when he just sacrificed the knight to throw off my pawn. Because now I can't follow it up here. I only have these two against a huge pawn majority here. So I got to make this work right. That's what I'm fearful of right there. So if I do this to make sure he doesn't block me so that I can force him to exchange, I'm still left with a pawn. So this could get tricky. How do you handle this? Do I, and this thought came to me also, sincerely it did. Do I sacrifice my bishop here? See, sometimes that's the disadvantage of bumping that. The idea, of course, is to prevent the bishop from landing at g5, but there are times when you can sacrifice the bishop and then crack open the king that way. But, and I know, decisions. I want my bishop in the attack, right? The dark squared bishop. Because I don't have the light squared bishop anymore, and he is weakening the light squares. So I want to have at least one bishop if I can. Now, this is my thinking. See, it's already off of book. Now you're on your own. Good luck. I hope you've been studying tactics like Username and Jonathan and many of you others as well. I am now finally beginning to do, I am taking your advice and studying them. And now I'm beginning to analyze a bit more and not play so fast. I know another person told me, hey, I've been looking over some of your games and you're playing too fast, which I entirely agree. And so I have to scale it down. Don't play this fast. Just think through it, because this will work anyway, regardless, but you got to do it right. One of the big keys, not to keep repeating myself, is castle, and it is here that I did castle. Once he bumped h6, I said, okay, now I'm going to cancel. Now my rooks are connected. Crucial. Now my rooks are connected. Absolutely crucial. I'm there. This is good. Bishop e7. Come back. See? I want my dark square bishop because he's going to keep his. And I suspected that. I thought, I sacrificed my dark square bishop and I won't have a way to oppose his dark squared bishop when he starts blockading my attack. Yeah. Because, of course, your opponent's going to try to blockade your pawns. You've obviously trumpeted out to the world, I'm sending missiles. So there's no going back now. You've got to keep trucking along. So once again, I do push this direction. I am really grateful. I don't have this pawn, but my dark squared bishop can act like a support pawn. And I know they say, well, don't make your bishops pawns. This is true, but in this instance, it's absolutely essential that I make this guy a pawn, a supporter of the pawns, so that if I did that first and then did that, it kills it. The attack's over. You don't get it, right? The battery. He'll stop you immediately. You swap it with the bishop, and then the queen's here. With the queen there, no, you don't have an attack because he hasn't been broken at all, and you have nothing left to pry him open with except your pieces. And the center is really close to being locked. So you gotta watch how you do this. I'm just saying. It gets tricky. So I went g5 to prevent that. We'll see if I did okay. I don't know yet. Knight a6. So here is a conundrum. Should you take the time to prevent counter-attacking? By this move, you can see instantly why he's doing this move. Number one, we hurried so fast to get these pawns thrusting forth that he hasn't had time to start his attack. He's been dealing with this. And that's exactly what we're hoping for. Speed is of the essence. But now he's going to try to develop a queenside attack. He's going to start pushing these pawns out. He's going to start ramming them home. And he's going to start bringing this out. Kick the knight away. After all, I did castle queenside. There's my king. So come this direction. This bishop has the diagonal. The knight is going to have the exquisite ability to hit the pawns, right? Why allow any of that? He's going to start counter-attacking. You don't have to allow it. One nice move. Prevents the bishop, prevents the knight. Steinitz rule. Take away the advanced squares of your opponent's knight. Keep them in the back. And you've got a good setup. So this is what I went with. And it cost me. See, I told you I was suspecting. I was really hoping he would exchange. However, the better strategy is, there's no reason to open up the rook if you're playing the black pieces and you're getting a Jobava London against you. Of course, then if you're black, you're not going to be playing it this way. Bonzea and Naroditsky and Smirnov all have ways to fight against the Jobava London. As black, you'll want to view both sides, yeah? So h5, and now because of h5, here's my thinking. If I go ahead and proceed here, now this rook is redundant. Doggone it. I'm going to have to take a move to get him in the action, right? Because my own pawn obstructs me. But if I proceed here without a buddy, and I don't have the white squared bishop, so I'm leaving my buddy here too, then yes, it cracks it open, but look what it accomplishes for black. And I know the bishops, but you can go down and exchange. Man, if you're being attacked, now remember, if you're the defender, trading off pieces is what you want to do. And there are many, many examples where you lose the exchange. The rook will sacrifice itself, the exchange, and get rid of that pesky bishop. You're not going to get an even trade for now, but get rid of those attacking pieces. That's what I was afraid of if I push that pawn, blam, and activating his rook, which in turn keeps his bishop very powerful with this battery, which in turn, if the queen comes up, they get rid of this bishop somehow, and the queen is able to move up and continue on, or continue on over here, then this rook gets activated. You see how that works? Now, I'd be showing you all those cool little fancy arrows if I was doing this electronically, right? But I don't. I'm going to do it on this board because you guys have requested that. And I respect that. It's all just as much fun and interesting anyway, in my humble opinion. Emphasis on opinion. So that's what's going through my mind. I'm thinking, yeah, oh man, how am I going to carry this out? Do I take that kind of a chance? Man, you open up that rook. I don't know. So I went rook df1. I've got an idea. I see some tactics. Now, and this is because I've been working on tactics puzzles. So let's put the rook in the appropriate place first. See, advance the pawns with the pieces backing them up, right? What's going on? Let's take a look. Rook comes to E8. And I don't think that's accurate. Now, and I haven't done a computer analysis on this. I probably did not play this very well. It won't surprise me if I didn't. It's all good. For now, I'm just showing you the game. I'll do a computer analysis later. Now, push that G pawn. I don't think this was accurate. I don't think that was the right move because now I'm ready to romp. Now I would love him to take that pawn. Yeah, right? G pawn, G6, and bishop takes H4. And I can't retake because that's the battery. So one of my missiles got shot out of the air, and I only have one left, and it's about to hit the target. How do you do this? I see a tactic. I'm very grateful that he went on the offensive. He did get one of my missiles. My other missile lands. Do you see the tactic? I mean, obvious. You guys do, yeah. But for me to see it, I was thrilled out of my gourd. There's some finger crossing here. And I know you're not supposed to play chess that way. It's all good. It's good. But take the pawn, check, and fork the rook. Now, please let there be the chess gods awaken watching this game and make sure that king takes that pawn because I'm going to win the queen. Right? Don't let the king go to the corner. And now it's perfectly safe to. That rook's out of play. He has nothing in this battle. And sure enough, as sugar sweet, the chess god said, yeah, take that free pawn. And now comes the tactic of my very favorite tactic. One, because it's done against me so dadgum much in my training games that I'm finally starting to get it and pay attention. Oh, man. Right? But now, because I've been doing tactical puzzles somewhat, mildly, I saw this, and I'm very excited about that. Bishop C7, check! And you go, dude, you don't get to check the queen. I didn't. I checked the king with the rook. Discovered check. Yeah, baby. That is so much fun, I can't see straight. I stood up and started doing one of these numbers, and my wife looks up and she says, will you calm down? And I said, hey, I'm not ranting and raving, I'm cheering. I did it. I got the tactic in. So king come to G6 instead of back behind. Kind of interesting there. And of course, absolutely, I took the lady. And now, when you are fortunate enough to get ahead, the ideal and what you shift your thinking immediately as the attacker. See, remember, the defender wants to change pieces, exchange pieces, get the pieces off the board, man. The attacker wants to keep pieces on the board so that you have more to attack with. When you get ahead and exchange, trade everything. Get rid of all of the pieces and go into a king pawn endgame and win, because we're pretty much even on 3/4 of the board. I do have doubled pawns. That's going to be solved. And on this side, he's got me outnumbered 2, but I'm up material with pieces, not pawns. And I have enough faith in my ability. I can eliminate those two pawns. They won't hurt me. Now I can also, the queen is gone. So I got a queen and a bishop for a bishop. Now that's an exchange I can get behind. Look, I've had that done enough to me. I'm going to rejoice because I could turn around and do it once, right? So now I'm really wildly ahead. Tough king, yeah? He's going to go ahead and put the king in battle. The interesting thing is I can't just move over and go check because of this little pipsqueak. See, the king and the pawns, they can work good together. Don't overlook that. So, like I say, this rook finally did get into the battle, but now I got to back him up and start over almost. No. Forget that noise. Combine them. Combine them and let's go after the pawn. Right? Look, there's no queens, there's no bishops. I own that pawn. Go get him. That was what I was thinking at this point. Ha! Ha! Okay, well, it's all good because we've left the tension in the center. Did you notice that? Ever since I've taken that knight. That has been tense the whole game, but now it's time to lock it down. Because two rooks, if he opens this up and gets some central files, I'm not interested. Close it down. Lock it so that they have nothing to work with. Prevent the counter attacks, right? Knight c7. Finally, I've had that knight on the rim for quite a while too. Now he has time to start bringing it in. So I have to hurry. Now, to eliminate this problem, to give my rooks the maximum chance, my queen's up here in the center where she belongs, but she's not doing much. But I know I'm going to have to attack this one, the one behind, the backward pawn. So get the knight up there. See? The double pawns in the center in this game are not a weakness. They are my anchor point for my attack. There you go, right? Every time someone says, oh yeah, don't do double pawns. They're a weakness. Oh, and the worst place is in the center. Don't do it. Wrong. These are awesome because I now have put pressure on the correct pawn. I'm hitting both of them, yes, but really, truly, the first target's going to be that one. If I have to, in the bad case scenario, I will take the H pawn, but I want the G pawn. Down the road, that will pay me dividends. Rook G8, here we go. Do you notice I am beginning to get the initiative? I am advancing my pieces closer to the king. I am also attacking, and therefore I'm reducing his last major pieces to babysitting duty. It's crazy. It's the rook that needs to be here and the king that needs to be here. He's got it backwards. But his king became a warrior in the game. That's very interesting. Gutsy king, Tough dude, tough dude. Now I really do have to. I'm done in the center. It's locked. Now I freed my queen from doing babysitting duty and get her active. She was one of the least active pieces in this. You don't want to leave the most powerful piece as the least active. That is not good chess. So let's get this lady in it. Look at this. All I got to do is move that guy and the queen gets in here. Rook B8. I don't know. Maybe he's going to try to push the queen pawn, the queen side. I'm not going to question him. I'm just showing you this game because I saw some tactics that I wonder if I would have if you guys had not said, yo, BYP, come on, dude, study the tactics better. And I am. And I am now beginning to somewhat gently see some. That's what's exciting for me. It works. It works. Queen G2, check. Fundamentally so. King is able to have shelter behind those pawns. This is why I wanted to put pressure on them. And in fact, I see a checkmate. Then you go, no, come on. Yeah, I do. I see the checkmate right now. And it involves a rook sacrifice. Get rid of that stupid pawn after all. King G7. I've got my doubled up rooks. Had he done that, I would have just simply retaken with the rook. See how powerful this knight is now? He's supporting. I told you he was hitting both those pawns, right? The queen is blocking this one. And queen takes G6, check. Notice I'm able to utilize the two squares of my knight, which I deliberately put on there to attack those two pawns because I knew I was going to be getting rid of them. I didn't realize exactly how yet, but I knew that knight was going to be a stellar part of this attack, and I'm thrilled with what I'm seeing here. Of course, the king goes to F. And now my queen is being attacked, and I see another tactic. And I thought, you know what? This will make a cool looking checkmate. Block the rook. Pin the rook, I mean. Pin the rook to the king. He can't take my queen now. And now I can swoop in and go checkmate. Now, I pinned the rook. The rook can take my rook. Got a second one right here, though. And yes, I will bring it forward. So instead, what he does is he goes King E7. And I thought, I've got another rook right there. I'll just leave these rooks on their home row, and I'll go check. So that was a fun game. It's interesting the emotional levels you get to go through. This week I've been really low. Now I'm kind of picking up. I'm somewhat excited. I'm saying, okay, I'm taking your guys' advice. You asked me to read something. I vaguely remembered this. It's been too long since I've actually sat back down and studied Jeremy Silman. And I promised myself I would keep studying him throughout the course of my life. Life happens when you're making plans, and I wasn't able to. So thank you. My advice, go read that chapter. That's a great chapter. My advice now, I'll return it to you for those of you who didn't hear it or see it in the comment to my previous video, is go start doing a little bit more on tactics. So I'm happy to say I have seen a smidgen of enlightenment, as it were. My vision for seeing tactics kind of, I've been asleep and I went, opened one eye. Oh, yeah, there's a tactic. I'm no fabulous tactician yet, but I'm going to develop the mental toughness so that I can be. But to be able to put it into a game, man, that gets fun. And this is the kind of stupid stuff that keeps us coming back to this wonderful game, right? Because now watch, I'm going to end up losing another 18 games in a row, and I'm going to come back here, I don't know how to play chess. No, I'm not, because I'm going to do something different this time. Every time I start feeling down, I'm going to go through this chapter. That's my goal. I'm going to keep this attitude by reviewing this attitude. So I suspect I'm about to turn a small little corner and go a better direction for the next 5 years, is what the hope is. So thank you for putting up with my shenanigans. I apologize for the long explanation, but all the other chess videos are doing it this way as well. And it's really important, because if we're attempting to get to where we can be better at chess and we want to beat our opponents, then we have to understand the whys and the wherefores. So, and that's what I'm trying to do as well. I'm being very hedonistic. This is for me. It's a repeat for me. I'm happy to share it with you because I consider you my chess family, and I'm hoping this thing grows and mushrooms. Go tell all your friends and family and all that, hey, the BYP is back to stay and he's kicking out some good stuff if you think it's good. If not, tell me and I'll try to improve it, right? I'm all open for anything that helps us have more fun with this game, which means improving so that we can at least win a few games, because that's what's the most fun, even though the losses also give us lessons. So, and yes, I'm going to show you some of my losses soon too, because those are important to see, because we all have them as well. Now, shut up, Carrie. You're done. So I'm done. You guys are awesome. Make friends. It's better to have friends than enemies. Be happy. To make a friend, you got to be a friend. Consider me your friend, and I'm considering all you my friends. Let's have a fun life together. Woohoo! Doing something we all love. Doesn't get better than that.